And away we go. It is the BCJ podcast, as always, brought to you by our good friends at the Holy Grail. Baseball season is almost upon us. Get yourself down to the Grail. I mean, you don't have to necessarily go to the game, but get yourself down there, stop by the Grail, get yourself some great food, some great drinks, and support the folks that support us because it's the right thing to do, and it would be greatly appreciated by all involved. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Kelly went for a little walk today, which, given recent events, is it makes you smile.
Excellent.
So as long as she's smiling, I'm smiling. And I love that she went for a little up and back, and then she sat down in her chair and she said, "Can I do it again?" All right, let's do it again. Let's go. And then she was exhausted for the rest of the day.
Yes. Before we all float away tomorrow, apparently.
Yeah. Well, she's on. Hopefully by tomorrow, she'll be back out of ICU and on the 14th floor at Good Sam. I feel pretty confident the flood is not going to get to 7. I'm pretty sure it's not going to get to 14.
That's right.
If it gets to 14.
There's other issues.
Did you know what I found out last night, Dave?
No.
That if you double click the comments button,
you
don't see the comments. And I did the live nightcap last night, and I didn't see 250 comments.
Oh, mine is a single click. If I double click it, it just stays there.
Oh, okay. Well, single click, yeah.
Oh, so you had no idea that there were people, like you didn't notice that there weren't any comments?
No, I did it on purpose.
Oh, there you go. That was probably smart.
So that I didn't argue with people saying stupid stuff. I'm turning over a new leaf, Dave. I'm arguing less with people that say stupid stuff.
I finally rubbed off on you after how many years of us working together?
I mean, it's not a rubbing off thing. I have a problem with people that say stupid stuff. It irritates me, and I have to respond. But
no. That's what I mean. Like, have you not paid any attention to how I run the Bearcat Journal Twitter page?
That's why people like that account a lot more than mine.
You don't have to respond. That's the best part.
So, yeah, I didn't argue with one person on Twitter last night. I didn't argue with a single person in our hour-long live show. And I went to bed feeling much better.
Yeah, see?
So maybe I've turned over a new leaf.
It should be about your well-being.
The problem is for a lot, like it's fun for me to mess with people, but I guess other people don't get the humor.
It can be fun, but then then sometimes it just drags on for
Yeah, for entirely too long.
A bit too long.
Yeah. What's a shocker, Lambig, that I like arguing with people? It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Well, let's get to it. I think we've. How was your day? How's life for the Simone family right now? Are you good?
Yes, I had a fine day. Working, doing all of those fun things. Getting ready to go. Getting ready to cheer on the Vols in a little while. So I'm glad they're the late game and we are starting a little bit earlier. So
you would have had a serious dilemma if they were the early game.
Yeah, it would have been like we're not doing the podcast.
Can we do it Wednesday? I initially was trying to look out for you. I thought we'd do pregame yesterday.
Yeah, that was too early for me.
But
got too much still going on at that point.
Hi, Tiger. Did somebody tell you a storm was coming and you're trying to crawl up?
But no, it's we'll see how the Vols do, because it would be very Vol-like to beat Duke, have the 1 seed defeated, and then
lose to Florida Atlantic.
Gag all over yourself and lose to FAU.
I saw the Joe Lenardi's already doing his 2024 bracket.
Because we need that.
And he had Florida Atlantic as a 4 seed.
Oh, wow. Because he thinks all their good players aren't going to transfer?
Clearly. I hope they don't.
Did he have the Bearcats in the field?
I did not see. I just saw. I think he had top 4 seeds and then the first 4 out.
Okay.
That's all I saw.
Makes sense, with like almost 1,000 players moving this from now until the beginning of next season.
Right.
Definitely figure out who the best teams are going to be. A la Kansas State. Pick dead last, 10 new players, and in the Sweet 16. So
yeah. UConn's starting to put it on Arkansas a little bit. Danny's got them balling, man.
I will get into. I'm sure at some point that Kansas State reference will come back into play here.
It will. 74-68, Utah Valley knocked off Cincinnati. Recruiting stuff is generally going to be handled on Bearcat Journal. We're into that point of the year where we're not going to be doing a whole lot of recruiting talk on the free network. We're going to keep most of that on the website. Look, have you ever in a college game seen 2 players take 50 shots? I don't know that I have.
Well,
I don't remember.
That is my lead note. 16 for 49.
Yeah.
42 points. It took 49 shots to get to 42. Well, obviously they had free throws and other things, but like 49 shots to get to 42 points, 32.5% basically. It was and I don't know what you guys discussed last night. To me, it was just so many elements of it was a very odd game. It felt very frenetic, very erratic, like very disjointed. Obviously, you have a 7-minute span where you don't make a basket. You, like we just talked about,
Natalie says, I've been at a college bar where I saw 2 guys take 50 shots. How was their ride to the hospital?
Yeah.
To have their stomach pumped.
For sure. I was not that one of those guys. I can.
Have you ever taken 50 Jello shots?
In one day? No. That's a lot of Jello.
Not so much the alcohol, it's just a lot of Jello.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of Jello. But like, no. I mean, they took so many shots and like not a lot of threes. I'll get to that.
No, they weren't chucking threes.
But no, it just felt like, I don't know. I know Utah Valley is one of the better, like a top 30-ish Ken Palm defensive team, but I don't know, did it feel like to you that there was just a lot more of like this felt, especially with like Landers, like trying to body dudes in the mid-range, like, and
that was clearly a part of the game plan, as they thought that he could use his height advantage because their guards were all 6'4", so he had a couple inches on the guy guarding him. I think wanted the idea was to take them mid post and have his mid range game take over, but he didn't make the shots.
No, I mean you had, and I'll shout out Doug Smith, fan of the show, I like his Twitters, and he had some shot charts up. Virginia Tech and Hofstra, 2-point shots not in the paint. They missed 7 in each game. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many they missed last night?
30?
17.
Okay.
But like that's an obscene amount to shoot when you're a quote unquote 3-point shooting team.
Yeah. And
it just felt like just so weird to me watching the game. Like you look at some of these numbers, 7-minute scoring drought, you get 8, you miss a ton of shots, but you get 18 offensive rebounds. You only have 8 turnovers. You're outscored by 11 at the line. Like if I told you Landers and Dave score 42, but they need 49 shots to do it, and JD and Mike could go 1 for 11, and
They
you
lose
get
by 20.
you get outscored by 11 at the line. How many points you think you're losing by?
20. On the road, hostile environment, 20.
And on top of that, I thought the defense stunk.
It was okay in stretches. It was really bad in stretches.
Like they haven't been backdoored and lobbed on and just like late on rotations and lazy getting back. That's like first 2 weeks of November shit at times that we saw last night.
Yeah, it was so weird because normally they're either really good or really bad. Like there hasn't been much like middle ground. And in this game, they were both. Because there were stretches where they were very good defensively. And then there were stretches that it like looked like they were on spring break.
Yeah. It felt like several times out of timeouts, just what they were just not like in tune to what was going on. You had in the second half, they got to 6 fouls with like 11 minutes to go. And I'm thinking, okay, like
one more foul the rest of the way.
The next time they shot free throws was the technical with like 5 seconds left in the game. And I'm like, okay, here's a way that you can kind of slow them down, grind this thing down a little bit. You clearly want to take advantage of some size mismatches of not just firing away from three. Like we're clearly taking more 2-point jump shots than we have recently. And you just don't get to the line. You don't get one more foul on them in 11 minutes.
The officiating was not great.
But I'm saying you didn't do anything to initiate it. Yes, there was calls. Like Vic got shoved in the back and they call him for a trap. Like, yes, there were calls, but I'm like, you didn't do anything to make them put them in that spot.
I would say my problem with that, though, was it felt like once they got to 6 fouls that fast, the way the game was called changed.
I don't disagree with that.
Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation when what you're doing is working, you're stacking fouls on them, and then all of a sudden, like, you're pump faking, guys are jumping right into you.
Yeah, those same things that got called for fouls in the first 9 minutes
aren't fouls anymore.
Are not being called anymore. I agree with that. I mean, there were definitely
that part's frustrating.
100%.
Because you got to that by doing the same thing that you kept doing. They just decided to stop calling it.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that at all. But that's also, but like I'm saying, part of that is and you're not going to go out of your way because then that takes you out of what you're trying to do. It's not like, it's like the old adage of, well, this guy's got 4 fouls, so we're going to go at him every time. Well, that could end up costing you 3 or 4 possessions because if he doesn't foul and you just throw up some terrible shot. But I mean, I don't know. It was just like Vic is clearly he clearly didn't get back to the point, where he was pre-injury. I like audibly laughed like more than I should have at him and Odie, like not even coming close to the rim from 2 feet on like 2 or on like almost back-to-back possessions.
Yeah.
Like I was just laughing like I was watching, a Dave Chappelle stand-up. I couldn't control myself at that point. So, you're trying to take advantage of some things and but it just comes down to the fact of like if your 2 best players are going to take 49 shots and only make 16, you're not winning.
No.
But that to me leads me to a point of that you need to have those guys take 49 damn shots to be in a game like this. That's the guys are going to have rough games. You would like it if they don't both have rough games at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, to Lander's credit, he did hit 5 threes. He just couldn't get his mid-range going at all.
But I'm just saying, like, you don't expect them both to be like that at the same time. And the problem to me is that you needed them to keep jacking shots because you
didn't have anybody else.
Don't have anybody else to go to.
Right.
So yes, you can say like they were terrible shooting percentage-wise, and I'd be like, yes, they were. But who Okay, knock 10 shots off of that total.
Where do they go?
Who would you have rather given those other 10 shots to?
Dan?
I mean, okay, but
I'm just like I got Dan. That's all I got. I got Dan.
right. So it's
Give
like
him to Dan.
yeah. Are they all driving to the basket? It's like
Yes.
Then I'd be in agreement.
He got to the rim. Now his man got to the rim a lot as well. His D was rough yesterday.
That was in the second half where they're like, "Hey, Zero's still on the floor. Everybody get out of the way."
Is he still out there? Yeah, he's right. I got right here. This way.
But I mean, it's frustrating whenever you lose. I think, I thought Utah Valley's, and I don't know if these were
good,
just
man.
I don't know if these are just the stretches where we were bad defensively, but like their offense is plus 100 in KenPom, and I just did not see an offense that played to that type of a number.
No, I didn't either. They looked top.
And I watched a decent amount of their Colorado game too, and I did not see that type of an offense. Well,
they clearly were playing their best basketball at the end of the season. Clearly.
Yes. Well, I can't comment. I've never seen them play 1 second of basketball until this.
I mean, if what they did this season warranted a 100 level offense, they were playing their best basketball at the end of the season.
Playing whack teams.
Yes. Like they found something that clicked down the stretch.
Yeah. So, but I knew it was going to be a rough game when Powder, one hand cocked it back on us in the first, 5-10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
For you old heads out there that have seen that movie.
He's got bunnies.
From 1995.
I don't know what's in the water in Utah, but the white boys out there had flubber in their shoes or something.
Well, yeah, the big stiff guy had how many alley-oop backdoor lobs did he get?
Right? That was a killer. I mean, that guy, Fuller, what did he average?
Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi.
Averaged 6 points a game on the season. And gets 12 on 5 of 7 shooting and 9 rebounds. The other 4 guys are already good enough. You can't let him go off too.
I just want to say that's 3 90s movies references in the last 90 seconds.
Flubber is way older than the 90s, Aaron.
The redo with Robin Williams, just saying it was a 90s movie.
It was like a 50s movie. That's the one I was referring to. Yeah, it's frustrating because they didn't play well, but we're still almost always in a position where one run they could have taken control of the game.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of been their MO in all of and Utah Valley's better than some of these AAC teams, but it's been their MO all year. Like whether you play good enough to get a 16-point lead or you play good enough to get a 7-point lead with 2 minutes to go, or in this case, like you play bad enough, but you're right there and it leaves you kind of scratching your head and wanting a little bit more. And I wouldn't, what 2 weeks ago you asked me about the NIT and I said win 2 games and I'll call that a success. And so I'm going to stick to that. I mean, I still would have, given the fact that you were playing pretty good against Virginia Tech and Hofstra.
Yeah.
Just felt like, this game just, like I said from the beginning, it just, to me, it felt a departure off of kind of where they had been for about the last month minus the Houston game.
But isn't this what it all comes down to? It's the inherent problem with the jump shooting team.
Yeah.
And we heard for years and years and years, shooters, go get shooters. All I want is shooters. Mick doesn't have any shooters. Hugs teams could never shoot. We got shoot. Get some shooters. Well, that's all fine and dandy until you don't have any slashers, until you don't have anybody that can get to the rim and put a different kind of pressure on the defense. Like there has to be a mix.
Well, that's the thing with shooters and with this roster. Like it's great to have guys that can stand there and shoot, but you don't have the defense never has to collapse off of them if nobody can get into the paint and kick.
Right.
Like there's no held defense against this team.
Not normally. I mean, it's defending the pass. Like you're not. That's what you're defending against this team. You're defending the pass. Because even Dave, when he gets to the lane, isn't a threat inside 10 feet. He's a threat with the floater. He's a threat with the step back, but he's never a threat to get all the way to the rim.
Right. He's not going all the way. He's not going all the way. He's not going all the way and kind of like circling around and throwing it to the corner. And, they're a jump shooting team, but with no one that can make the wing defenders really come off of their men.
So when that happens, you might get it to Jeremiah on the wing for a set shot.
How many contested jumpers? And we can say that he just shouldn't take them, but like, how many straight contested jumpers versus open looks is he getting, or is anybody getting? A lot of contested jumpers.
Yeah, I mean, most of the open jumpers last night were off of offensive rebounds, where there's a scramble.
That's usually how it is because guys they're not in true guarding position.
Right. Everybody's reacting to the ball coming off the rim. So there's a bit of a scramble, and then you get the rebound and you can kick it to a guy stepping into a shot, which they missed a lot of those yesterday too.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Kansas State's point guard hurt.
Noel?
Yep. Rolled his ankle, maybe.
That's not good.
It's good for my house.
You got, oh yeah, that's right. Your wife's a Michigan Stater. Mm-hmm. She's Sparty.
Yeah. Yeah. Sparty wins, Vol wins. Somebody's happy on Saturday night.
And somebody's mad.
Better be me.
Somebody's big mad. I don't know. What else you got? What else you want to hit on from this game? Anything?
Not really. I mean, can we get that 7-foot Fandango guy to transfer?
He was at Akron and nobody knew anything about him last year.
He's springy.
Bouncy is how the kids call it. Bouncy. It's very bouncy.
Their little guard with the blonde thing. He got some bounce to him too.
Woodbury?
When he leaked out on that dunk and he one-handed it and then two-hand finish. It was I like the whole Utah Valley vibe though. I dug the arena.
It's like a high school gym. It's like a 6,000 seat high school gym.
That's fine for them though.
I'm not saying it's bad. That's what it resembled.
Yeah.
Where it was, straight up on the sides. There wasn't really
the band was rowdy.
Yeah.
Good for them.
The Mad Dog's not going to be at Utah Valley for long, I don't think.
I wouldn't think so.
Maybe they could legitimately win the thing.
Oh, I mean, it's
they play UAB. They
North Texas, UAB, Wisconsin, and them.
I mean, that's 3 Conference USA teams, isn't it? There are 2 Conference USA teams, West Coast Conference team, and the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I think somebody said there's a chance. You're not going to like this. There's a chance Conference USA could win all 3 tournaments.
Yes, Chris Manini, I think, said that.
Yeah.
They won the CBI, Florida Atlantic, and then they have 2 teams in the NIT finals.
NIT semis. Yeah. And one of them's going to the final. No, they're opposite each other.
Yes.
They're opposite each other. Sorry. Long day at the hospital. All right. Well, now the season's over, Dave. And I told everybody I'm not going to, same as football, I'm not going to talk about the Big 12.
Torch
The season's
everything.
over. They're not torching everything. It's not happening. And I still contend. And this is the challenge that they're going to face. Let's say it's only 2. I think it's going to be 2 new spots.
Okay.
Maybe 3 at most. But it's not going to be 4. I'm telling you it's not going to be 4.
I know what it's not going to be, but I'm telling you what it should be.
I thought you like to talk about the realities of the situation.
I do,
it's
but
not
I also
going to be 4.
And okay, I know. And it should be though.
It's not going to be.
I know.
2, maybe 3. The difference in basketball is I think this roster can be competitive in the Big 12 if you get the right 2 guys.
I think it could be more competitive if you got 4 guys.
Okay, but there's no point in talking about 4 guys because it's not happening.
Yeah,
You're going against your own nature here. You don't like to talk about things that aren't happening.
I know, but it's still.
But this time I want to.
That's right.
You can seriously change this roster with two hot, like Big 12 starter level additions.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Landers back, and you have Vic back, and you have the 2 new point guards. Like, your starting 5 is going to be drastically different than it was this year, and then you go from there.
I agree, but I'm inclined to go, further.
It's not happening.
I know. I just I'm. I don't know. I can't I understand. I 100% understand John Newman's value to what West wants to be. I can't rely on a guy that has had 2 years of season-ending injuries at this point if I'm the coach. Like, I can't take that chance that what happens if he has another injury.
That's sports, Dave.
Oh, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't. My it's my career. Like, I can't. I have to have something that I can rely on more.
I mean, I think that's fair, but I think you also, the guy's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this program. He's a proven guy at the ACC level. Like, you're talking one of the only guys on this roster that's proven it in a high major conference. If you can get him back, you get him back.
Yeah, but what is he now compared to what he was then? Like, this is like the Cash Wright thing. Cash wasn't
His knee was bad there, and he was still pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you getting in the ideal setup of this roster? What is he giving you on next year's team?
He's a bench wing that should be able to give you by far the best defensive ability on the roster.
So I can't find something like that with more.
But you already have it.
With more scoring punch and not 2 bad legs?
There's only one.
No, so it's the same one twice. That makes me feel even better about what I'm saying here. That doesn't hurt my argument.
That's only one. It's only one bad leg, Dave. But you're telling me Cash Wright wasn't a very good player in the Big East?
He was. He's way better than John Newman.
We don't know that. John Newman, when he was healthy last year, was one of the best players on this team.
That's like me saying I'm like one of the skinniest kids at Fat Camp. That last year's team did not have
camp with you.
My last year's team did not have a lot of great players to pick from to beat out.
Yeah, but he was good when he was where he needed to be. He was good last year.
I understand. I'm being greedy and saying if you're going to, because I look at the Big 12 and I look at a West Virginia and an Oklahoma State that were in the tournament / on the cusp of making the tournament with a significant losing record in the conference. And I'm going,
Cincinnati can get there.
Why can't that be UC?
It can be.
So, okay, that's my point. So let's not screw around with maybe a couple spots. Like if you have,
But if you're going to get rid of John Newman with the hopes of just replacing him with John Newman, why don't you keep John Newman?
I'm trying to replace him with better than John Newman. That's the whole point of freeing up some spots.
You don't know that you're going to be able to do that. John Newman is a proven, again, one of the only guys on this roster that's proven he can play 20, 25 minutes a game at the high major level because he's done it.
I don't disagree. I'm very leery about, it's the same thing like when you.
So do you want to run off Vic because he's injury prone?
No, because Vic is 6'11".
There's other 6'11" guys in the portal. Just go get one of those.
Are there?
Get rid of Landers. You can find another one of those out there.
Landers is not injury prone.
You get my point.
Kind of. You're being a little sarcastic with it, but
no.
But no, I'm not typically like that. Like, but I'm just looking at it as this is the opportunity to. Not him specifically, but I mean, I'll say the same thing about JD and Micah. Like, they're just not good enough, man. I don't know how else you want me to say it. Like Micah's last 4 games, he's averaged 6.5 points and more turnovers than assists. Like,
yeah,
what?
Micah's the tough one for me.
Where's his spot next year?
As essentially, if he has a spot next year, it is to be the bridge for Day and Jizzle.
I don't need a bridge. I need to play my best guys and let them figure it out in November and December so we can try to win in January and February.
Well, the problem is if you do that, you can have another November like you had this year that pretty much eliminates you from the tournament before you get.
Not if you're in the Big 12, it doesn't eliminate you from the tournament.
Why did Oklahoma State make the NIT? Because their non-conference was trash.
Yeah, they've lost like 7 games in a row.
That's possible next year. If you have 2 point guards that have never played D1 basketball before, 7 in a row is certainly in the realm of possibility in that league, right?
They lost 7 in a row in the non-conference. We're going to lose 7 in a row with the crap schedule we're probably going to play next year because we're moving to the Big 12.
What if they play FAU next year? That's going to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, according to Joe Lenardi.
Before the Sweet 16, before a dribble in the Sweet 16 is even
and you see all their good players transfer to, wherever. No, I mean...
Noel's back in the game.
Well, screw him. He's just jaking it. No, but, I do think it puts him in kind of a tough spot if he's only got two available options.
I mean, it puts him in a tough spot if he's got 4 or 5 because you're already bringing in 3 new guys.
Yeah, but this isn't like before when you're bringing in more freshmen. Look, okay, I'll bring it up. I mentioned it earlier. Kansas State. 10 new players. 10.
The number 2 one, a guy that nobody else would touch. Now, it ended up being a mistake that nobody else would touch him. But Keontae Johnson, nobody else would touch.
Okay, then what about the other 9?
One of them, I think, had played, had just started playing basketball 18 months ago and was at a D2 school. There's not it's a stupid game to play because there's 2 teams in the country that have erased their roster, started over, and everything worked.
Right, but I'm not saying do that. I'm not even saying do half of that.
But you are. Because if there's 4 new spots and 3 other guys coming in new, that is 7 new players on a 13-person roster that is doing literally, again, for the 5th time in 5 years, flipping half the roster.
Right. I get that. So when, hypothetically speaking, when we get to this situation next year and we have nothing coming off the bench because it's the exact same as we saw this year, I'm just going to be like, I'm not going to be the I told you so guy, but I'm going to be like, that's what.
If Micah's your ninth guy, Newman's your eighth guy, and Micah's your ninth guy.
Then he's not playing.
If you get the 2 point guards where you need them to be, he's not going to play a whole lot. But what if they come in and they're not ready for 6 weeks? And you need to put somebody in the final 6 minutes to win a game that's not going to be a deer in headlights or adjusting to the Division I level.
He does it like what?
He can defend. He's a solid defender. He's sometimes a plus on offense, sometimes just an absolute zero.
Yes.
Who are you going to go get to come in knowing that they're adding 2 guys that they consider the future of the program at point guard?
Oh, I wouldn't get anybody else at point guard. Those are my 2 point guards. I don't need 3 point guards. Who has 3 point guards that play?
Nobody.
Right. So I don't need any more point guards. I need dudes that can get to the basket from the wing. I need somebody.
No. You're going to need guys that can shoot.
Well, yes, I'm getting to that. If I got 4 spots, you asked me what I needed.
Another Jizzle and Day are downhill guys. They're not shooters.
I need somebody for them to kick it to.
Uh-huh.
I need another slasher, kind of like Dan.
Okay.
I need a big, and I'll take another shooter. Like, if you can shoot, I'm cool with you playing 5 to 10 minutes because you have a very specific role. Like, you're coming in to fire.
Mike is a 37% three-point shooter for his career.
And how many of those in big moments does he bang in?
How many times did they pass in big moments? Dave and Landers just got the ball and said,
well, that's not going to – right, but if
realistically, you're also not going to have a 13-man rotation with no point guard substitute if one of your point guards goes down either. And that's the picture that I feel like you've just painted. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to have a combo guard that can help you out with minutes at the point.
Right.
And I just don't know, like, where are you going to go find this guy that's going to come in here and accept the role that you were going to have for Micah?
I don't have to find them. That's the staff's job.
You know what? I'm not talking about you personally, Dave. Like, you've got the guy that you're looking for as a bridge on your roster that knows your system.
I think there's, and this is this is not a one-off thing. I mean, there's just not, like, if that's what happens, if Newman and Odie and Micah come back, like, I'm like, the bench just does nothing for me. Like, we better have some fucking absolute dogs as starters because the drop-off is Grand Canyon-esque. And that ain't going to work next year. It didn't work this year at times. Like,
who's the ninth guy at Baylor? You don't know because he doesn't fucking matter.
The guy that hurt his eye, I think.
You don't know
Langston Love.
Because he doesn't matter. Top 7. That's where you win games.
Oh, yes. Who's our 6 and 7 that gets you excited for next year?
One of them is going to be the point guard, the second point guard.
Okay. And?
John Newman.
Okay.
If you go out and you fill 2 starter spots.
Wes plays a ton of guys. So you
or Dan Skillings. He didn't play a ton of guys. 7 or 8 guys almost the entire stretch of the season.
Dan, Kalu.
Oh, come on. Give me a fucking break.
At the end,
like 3 minutes a game. No, he played 3 to 5 minutes a game. Kalu. Fuck out of here, Dave.
He would have played him if two of them didn't get hurt. So don't say that. He would have played Newman and he would have played Rob.
Yeah.
So that would have been like 9 or 10 guys that he would have been playing.
And then that would have pushed out less minutes for Micah, less minutes for JD.
Who's the starting point guard in this situation?
Dave was the point guard all fucking year. Dave just finished third all time for a season in assists.
Micah started every game.
Okay. Do you think when the ball was in somebody's hands and things were happening that Micah had the ball?
No, I'm saying you're saying he would have pushed down his minutes based on what? Who would have played more minutes than him?
Rob.
Okay.
That was happening when Rob came back before he blew out his knee. He was playing more minutes than Micah, or was trending towards playing more minutes than Micah.
So then why would we want to bring that back?
Because you're going to need a veteran break glass in case of emergency guard behind two guys that you're expecting to take over, but have also never bounced a ball in a Division I game.
All right.
If you can go find somebody to agree to come in and do what you're going to ask Micah to do, okay. But I don't think you're going to. That's what I'm saying with Micah. I think as an 8th or 9th guy,
but you
I
just
think he
said
has
the
a
8
lot
or
of
9th
value.
guy is never going to play. So
I don't.
So
I
then
think,
go get someone you think might have that's a sophomore and might end up having more potential.
or you can just do that in 24.
No guarantees. Just like you're telling me there's no guarantees you can get anybody better this year. No guarantees.
I'm talking about somebody in the role that you're going to be asking him to that you're going to be looking to fill. You are turning the program over to Day and Jizzle in terms of who's going to have the ball in their hands.
Yes.
You've got a guy that has proven he's going to be okay with a different role or whatever is asked of him in that role.
So go
And
get
he's
a
been in the
shooter.
system.
So go get
This
a
will be a
shooter.
third year in the system. He can defend at a pretty high level. So if one of these two guys comes in and can't guard anybody, you're at least going to have, in case of emergency, break glass. We can put him in to defend for 5 minutes here and there.
Okay. I don't see it, but I don't watch it nearly as close as you do. So
I mean, if you tell me you could go get an elite type 2 guard that can also switch and play and help you a little combo guard and help these two new guys along, then maybe I see what you're seeing. But if you're really turning the show over to them, there is a valuable place for a guy that's in his third year in your system, in his 5th year in the program, that's played. He's started almost every game since he's been here. Like, is he flawed? Is he a guy that I think should play 18 minutes a game next year? No. But when you're starting to get to the back of the roster, because here's this exercise. Landers.
yes.
Vic.
Yep.
Dan.
Yep.
Jizzle. Day.
Yep.
And then Newman potentially in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, where am I at in my head?
Rayvon, Josh Reed.
Rayvon, Josh Reed,
Odie.
Sage, Odie. I mean, you're not terrible after the first 5. You're inexperienced a little bit because we don't know exactly what Ray's going to be, but Ray's going to play. He's going to be in a similar situation as Dan.
I would say he's similar like Dan. Josh has to take a big step. You know, he really wasn't impactful at all for.
No, and without John getting hurt, Josh redshirts. Like, that was the unfortunate part about Newman getting hurt. There's one more in there that I'm missing.
No, you got it all.
Okay. Hensley, JD, Micah. Okay. Those are the 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
So there's 10. And I think those are the three in question. I think Odie is. I'm pretty sure Odie comes back.
I'm fine with that. Like in the Big 12 with his athletic ability, and he can be aggressive at times. He plays with a lot of energy. Like as a big coming off the bench, you know, take the Houston approach. At worst, he's an aggressive dude that'll body bigger, more active guys up and give you whatever number of minutes you need from a rotation big going up against Big 12 people. Like I think he's at a place a little bit starting and having to be relied on for that many minutes on this year's team. So, you know, he's an energy guy. He'll rim run for you. He'll offensive rebound. Like I'm fine with him coming off the bench in the Big 12. I have no problems with that.
Okay. Sam says, what about Micah? It's not about Micah being the 8th guy. It's about opening up that spot for someone that could be the 2nd guy. That's what we're talking about doing with the potential 2 spots that we're talking about coming open. You find 2 guys that fit into that top 4 or 5 in your rotation. Hopefully 2 and 3, maybe
yeah, I mean,
1 and 3.
But that's my point. Is like if you have 2, then yes, I totally agree. I'm saying, you know, I look at it almost as like draft picks, like more swings. Like find a dude that is a jump shooter. Like, you know, if we're going to be this more downhill team, who are they kicking the ball out to next year?
I have that concern.
That's my point, because like if you let's just play it out. 2 spots. Let's just say one of them is Flory. Okay, one say he reclassifies.
I don't give a shit who the other one is.
But no, but they still need somebody to make a basket from the outside.
Landers Nolly. There it is. Yeah, there he is. Landers Nolly. Throw it to him.
So you only have 1 spot left. Does that have to go to a shooter? I would say yes.
I would love it to go to like a more of a stretch 4.
Right. But so then back to my point. If you have 2 downhill point guards and you get Flory in a stretch 4, who are they kicking it out to in what you and I think is a better, stylistically more effective offense than just having guys standing around the 3-point line jump shooting, like getting to the basket?
Landers Nolly.
Okay, that's one.
Dan Skillings is going to be a good shooter. He's a better shooter than he showed this year. You saw in stretches that he's going to be a good shooter.
I don't disagree with that at all. But he, in my mind's eye, like he's not like the prototypical like kick it out. He's still going to be best going to the basket.
Yeah, but that's what makes him even more dangerous as a shooter, because teams have to play him respectfully that he can get to the rim. You're not going to be able to like hard close come flying at Dan Skillings.
No,
because he's just going to go. His first step, he's going to go right by you.
That's just where I look. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying about opening up more spots, is because, like you just said, like if they only have 2 spots, there could be a glaring weakness of 3-point shooting next year.
I mean, I could see Micah having a Justin Jennifer like, hey, man, look, just stand there. You stand right here, and when we pass it to you, hit the 3.
But Jennifer started and played a lot of minutes his senior year.
Yeah, but, I mean, you don't necessarily – well, he split time with Kane. I think he was only at about 20 minutes a game. Him and Kane were pretty much de facto 1 and 2.
But you're saying use Micah as break glass in case of emergency, then he's not going to get those opportunities.
At the 1. At the 2, there can be some opportunities depending on how you use.
You're going to play him and one of the other guys together?
If I need a little bit of shooting and spacing for a stretch here and there, yeah. He can shoot. We've seen him shoot at the Division I level. He can shoot.
Yes. God damn it.
He can shoot. He's a 3-and-D, but he's 6'2", 6'3", instead of, you want your 3-and-Ds to be 6'6".
Right.
But that's kind of how I would use him. when I said in case of emergency break glass, I'm talking about him being the point guard.
Yes.
That's going to be Jizzle and Day-Day.
Right.
But there is some value in Micah at 8 minutes a game at the 2. He's going to give you some balance on the floor defensively. Like, that's the one worry. I don't worry about Dan on offense. I worry about Dan getting up to speed to the point where you can keep him on the floor for an 8-minute stretch because he can defend.
Yeah, he's guarding a different type of dude next year.
Right.
Like, he's guarding Keontae George from Baylor next year.
Yeah.
Who's going to be a lottery pick.
Yeah.
As a freshman.
Every night. That's who he's guarding. So
like his body type, his athletic ability, like he's guarding Grady Dick or the Wilson guy from Kansas.
Can't Day-Day shoot? He has shot it well this year at junior college. There is a very large leap from junior college to the Big 12.
Yeah, I don't know how efficient defensively the JC level is.
I'm not in a position at this point to just think of Day-Day and say, I'm going to pencil him in at 37% as a three-point shooter next year. Maybe he is. And if he is,
can he shoot better than that McNeil guy that somebody else brought in?
That was a D1 transfer. That wasn't a JUCO transfer.
I know. Well, are you sure?
He was at like 8 schools. There was probably a JUCO mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Kane should have played more his senior year. Look, Justin Jennifer hit a lot of shots.
He hit a lot of big shots too.
Yeah, a lot of there was a lot of time the ball popped out to Jennifer, and that was the thing that was awesome about him at that last year. McNeil's still over. When Justin shot it his senior year, you were pretty comfortable. Like he was wide open. It was in rhythm. He stepped into it. He had that smooth lefty release, and you were real confident it was going in.
Mm-hmm.
I know where you're coming from. These are things you have, like when you're on the inside, these are things you have to think about. We have this already. This is what we know. What we don't know in certain, like there are some guys that it's like, okay, we know.
Right.
It's time to move on. There are other guys, like with Mikey, there are things you know he can do to help your team. If you move on from him, you better get it right.
Yes.
Because what you're losing can hurt you if you don't properly replace it. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't want to just sound like, and I'm also completely understanding of like, this isn't like some all-star game roster. Like you're not just, somebody, no matter whether you make a move with him or not, like somebody is going to be that type of a minute load. And so whether it's somebody that's already on the team or whether it's somebody that you bring in. So yes, everybody can't play 25 minutes a game.
Right. I mean, I think Kalu is a perfect cautionary tale in that everything about what he did at Old Dominion looked like a perfect fit. 14 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. They needed more offense from that team last year that couldn't score outside of Dave down the end of towards the end of the season. And then he got here and he didn't really fit. And that was through no fault of his own. Like it's just a situation where you went out and identified that, he wasn't a guy that was going up a level whose play had been subpar. You know what I mean?
Right.
He played well in the A10 for a considerable amount of time. And then he got here and it just didn't fit. And if you replace Micah and you go get another guy that you think is going to fit, and it takes him 2 months to fit, while you're also breaking in, and Dave, here's the thing. I think we'd be having a completely different conversation if even one of Jizzle or Day had played Division One. I think we'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah.
Neither have played. Neither, I just think with Micah, there is a significant value in having that guy for one more year on your roster. You disagree? That's fine. I'm not.
It's a big unknown. It's just like how you and I constantly try to temper expectations with the transfer portal, and that's getting less and less because so many guys are entering it. But you still,
Sure.
I mean, think about it now. Kalu, we thought was going to be good. It didn't work out the way that we anticipated.
Sure.
Now we're jumping up from the AAC to the Big 12.
Yeah.
So anybody that we're talking about in the portal that's like at a lower level than the AAC, what are your realistic expectations of them in the Big 12 next year?
Right.
And obviously there are guys.
There are lower level transfers that are playing in the Big 12 right now that are good. There's four of them on Kansas State.
So it's not like out of the realm of possibility, but
right.
What are the percentages of that? They have, you have to take that into account. Speaking of Kansas State shooting 58% from three.
Noel and if you can go get Marcus Noel and Keontae Johnson in the portal, go do it. I am in favor of that. I think it would be great.
Yeah, it would.
So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting 7 to 10 days. And then, the Landers thing, I know everybody just automatically thinks he's going to come back. And gun to my head, I think he comes back. But he is going to very likely test the NBA waters. As he should. His fifth year, he's finishing his 5th year in college. If he goes through that process, you're looking at maybe not getting a decision from him until May, maybe June, or at least late May. That puts you in a weird spot, doesn't it?
For sure.
Because if he comes back, you probably feel pretty good. If he doesn't come back, it's June, and your two alphas are gone. There's not a whole lot of alphas floating around in June.
No, not a lot of lead guys to take into a new conference, just sitting out there, waiting to be added.
It's generally that's not the way of the portal. What are you doing over there? You're distracted. You're watching the end of this game?
Well, no, I don't even have where my computer is. I don't have any way to watch it. I guess I could put it on my phone, but
that's what I thought you were doing. You were looking at your phone.
I am looking at it, but I've been an idiot this whole time and haven't had it on on like my Spectrum app where I could actually be watching it. I'm just like checking scores like a bozo.
If you have it on, you can just kind of look down and see the score and not wait
I'm sure I'm behind on the game though.
Yeah, I mean I'm watching on cable, so I'm way ahead of whatever you're going to have going.
I got a minute 9 seconds left.
What score you got?
80-78. Well, now I got 82-78.
It's 82-78. They just went to break.
All right. Bastards.
You want to talk some pro day before we get out of here? We're going to we're going to be doing this for a couple weeks, having these conversations. So I think that's a good starting point. I think Micah is like a bozo. That is the episode title. That's a good one. Micah is, I think, the hot topic on if there's 2 or if there's 3. And I think it's a good conversation to have because I get your points. I do. I just see some of the other side of it strictly because Jizzle and Day have never bounced a ball in a Division I game.
Right. And you're going to ask him to do it in the Big 12
without somebody they can lean on.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that makes it inherently difficult. That's all.
For sure. For sure.
There's value in having him back that goes beyond, is he valuable as your ninth guy or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Pro day today, unfortunately, I could not go. I was with Kelly. Good times, it looked like. Tyler and Trey both down in the 4.3s. Justin, I was listening to Justin, and we'll talk to Justin tonight on the nightcap. He's going to join Aaron and I to discuss today and practice yesterday, since I was unable to make those. So make sure when the nightcap pops up, we're not going to do it live. I think 3 live shows in a night is I'm good. We're going to record with Justin and get an update on some things. No way. Okay.
What other live show do you have?
The Rock of Truth is tonight.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
So yeah.
What Justin was, what you're going to say that he
said that the Bengals asked Trey why he was running today because they had him timed at a 4.3 flat at the combine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Why are you running? You're in a 4.3 flat. Like, we don't basically, like, you don't need to show anybody else here what we had on our watch.
We know you're fast. Does it like
right? Anything from reading all the stuff today that jumped out at you about Pro Day?
Not really. I mean, not really. They're, they suppose, but like you said, they that's the thing is you have the TV at the combine, and then you have the official laser at the combine, but then the teams are also hand timing them themselves. So it's not even like they're going off of,
right.
Who knows which one they're using? Are they using their hand time? Are they using what the NFL is providing? Are they taking an average? Like, no idea. So, I mean, it's good to see him run, unofficial 4.32. So, could be 4.32, could be 4.35, could be 4.31. I mean, whatever. Doesn't matter. They're fast. Everybody knows they're fast. When you're a receiver, as long as you're not slow, right, whether you ran a 4.42 or a 4.37 does not matter to teams.
Well, and for both of those guys, they're going to be in the slot in the NFL. The quick twitch, the quickness is more important than the high end speed. Yeah,
I mean they know they're fast. They've seen them do many things that are fast. So
right,
nothing really jumped out to me. I thought, Fiven ran in the 4.5s. I thought that was good. Josh looked good in some of the drill videos I saw. We've talked about
if anybody, he seemed like he probably would have helped himself more than anybody today.
Yeah, we've talked about the tight ends. I mean, there's so many of them. Does that help them? Does it hurt them?
Right.
You can't really tell until you get actually into the draft.
I'm waiting for you to catch up.
You called a timeout?
No.
Did my guy Joey Hauser bang another 3?
No.
I'm still not caught up yet.
All right. We'll wait.
Now I'm caught up. 5 seconds. Tie game. Now I got the VPN's going to soon exceed the session time limit.
Overtime.
Oh, they didn't call a timeout?
No.
Did they not have one? They had 2.
They got Noel downhill, and he missed a layup at the buzzer.
I wasn't even watching because I just assumed they were going to call a timeout.
No, he got downhill and missed a layup at the buzzer.
Oh my God! Jerome Tang, Pootie Tang, what are you doing?
He got all the way to the rim. You had the best finisher in the country get all the way to the rim. He short-armed it. He didn't go up strong. He got scared because there was a guy back there with a hand up, and he brought it all the way down here and tried to.
So he pulled a Micah. So he pulled a Micah.
He's just a little better at doing it.
Well, he still missed it.
But yeah, it felt like Josh helped himself today. showing that he could go heavy at the combine at 260. I think they said he was 248 today. Did I see that right?
Yeah, 249, I think.
Yeah. So I think he helped himself, but I mean it's Dave's using all his VPN data. I think we lost him. Oh, this is your switch over time, isn't it? 8:30-ish. Is this when we generally lose you? Is 8:30 momentarily?
Yes.
Yes. Can you not? Okay.
Yes.
Can we get Dave's analysis of which Bearcats fit onto the Bengals roster? We've had that some, and I'm sure we'll get to it more as we get towards the draft.
Yeah. X
And
amount of hours in a row.
Yeah.
So, yes, Natalie, I can give you my analysis of which Bearcats fit best onto the Bengals. I mean, I can do that very quickly if you want.
Sure.
Josh Wiley and Trey and Tyler. They obviously have a glaring hole at tight end. They have literally Devin Asiasi and two guys I've never heard of currently under contract.
Yeah.
And then with Tyler Boyd in what is likely the last year that he will be a Bengal, I would not be surprised if they, they only have 7 picks, so, and I don't think wide receiver is super high on that list, but it wouldn't shock me if they took a slot type guy to kind of not even necessarily get ready, but I mean, the back end of the wide receiver room could use an upgrade. Maybe he's also, that's where kind of both those guys would fit in with kick return ability, play special teams, back half of the roster, and then possibly, move into a more prominent role next year.
I mean, when you talk about culture too, are there two guys that fit the Bengals roster better than
for God's sake,
Tucker and Tyler Scott?
Terrible pass. No, I mean, it's clear, you have to be a good football player, but they certainly go above and beyond to find those type of captains,
guys
winners.
that love doing it.
Yeah, guys. And that's why I was like, the combine, he's going to get drafted way ahead of them picking, but Nolan Smith from Georgia is the perfect Bengals player. Dude just loves ball, obsessed with it. Teammates love him. So yeah, those are, Trey and Tyler definitely fit that mold.
And Josh as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Josh fits it more because they don't have any damn tight ends right now. I could definitely see them drafting 2 tight ends.
Yeah. Here's my thing, Dave. You don't think they love physical blocking tight ends? Do you not think Lenny is also maybe a late 6th, 7th round? You just said they could draft 2 tight ends.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of 1st and 4th or something like that.
Yeah, but depending on how the draft plays out.
Sure. Lenny is going to be pretty
niche.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals do a good blocking tight end, but they also don't run a lot of 12 personnel. Lenny feels like he's going to be on a team that has a heavy tight end room, runs 12 personnel quite frequently, where they'll need 4 or 5 tight ends versus 2 or 3 that are active. I've appreciated Mr. Noel's just no gives a what about firing from 30 feet
with a guy staring him down.
That's twice in the last 3 minutes of the game.
How about what you're about to see right now?
An and one.
No.
My guy Tyson Walker, just do it to him. Boom. I liked how earlier in the game, the announcers are talking about how Kansas State has built this roster and 10 new guys in the transfer portal, and then they're like, And Michigan State is like the
Just does
exact
not.
opposite. And I'm like, except for their best player who's a transfer.
Yeah. But that's you mean one transfer.
Actually,
if you
they're
get it
two
right.
I wasn't even thinking about Joey Hauser. I was like thinking of Tyson Walker. Now I'm like, oh, actually, their two best players are both transfers.
Oh, so if you take two and you get it right, and they're the top of roster guys.
Yes, if you can give
things.
me Joey Hauser and Tyson Walker on the Bearcats next year, I'm good.
All right, I'm going to let you go watch the rest of
All
this.
right, thank you.
I know you're paying attention to it anyway.
Yes.
Football wise, next week I should be at spring ball. Fingers crossed. I don't want to spend any more fucking time in ICU. I can tell you that. I want to be watching football and basketball. I genuinely do. So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks to Dave. Thanks to Aaron. And we'll see you next week. Wednesday night. We'll be back to our normal Wednesday night presentations. Now the basketball won't be playing on Wednesday nights. This is the BCJ podcast, brought to you by the Holy Grail, right here on BearcatJournal.com.